My name is Cody Mobley, and I just got to build on something real.
Yes, Casey Townsend here, and I'm with Cody Mobley, my main man at Cap City Cigar.
Yes, sir.
We've been building something real for really the past 3 years, man. I've been coming there and smoking some of my favorite stogies, and man, you got some unique cigars,
man.
So I had to reach out and try to schedule this interview.
Definitely been a building relationship, through cigars and just friendship, just having conversations with each other and just throwing ideas of what we think we could do better or what the town or city could do better, and just building a relationship just off of like-minded things. And it starts with a simple conversation and then builds with cigar from there. And now here we are 3 years later.
Yep. And so a big question that I have, man, because like when I see your cigars, I think about legacy. I think about innovation. How do you balance preserving the legacy that your dad built with bringing in your own innovation and ideas?
So I think naturally, I feel like I have the core building blocks that he gave me, just from being around him, hearing what he says, how he treated customers, how people love stories he would tell. And I think that goes a long way. But then to build from that and that be my core base and be able to put my own twist on it using social media in 2025, which is something he would have never really focused on, or doing different new events with younger generation, trying to bridge the gap between the age difference of people smoking cigar, or maybe doing something like merchandise, whether it's hats and t-shirts, nothing really having to do with cigars, but you can build your brand in that way. Maybe it's giveaways just to give back to your followers or good customers, or maybe it's just having little meet and greets, giving out free coffee to your customers just to give back to them, because without customers, we can't be here 20 years later. And whether it's new customers, whether it's repeat customers, or they come back, maybe if it's due to different health situations, it's because of you guys and a strong relationship that we built over the years that's really helped build that. And I'm just kind of passing the torch along and trying to further build that relationship with our customers. And it's really cool to see 20 years later, they're like, oh, I remember where you started in the little horse barn behind the house, and they've been following us for that long. So it's just cool to see, young and old or new customers just come back and still show support. So that's the core value that I try and keep, but always try and keep it fresh, try and change, because you've got to adapt in the cigar industry. It's always changing. People palates, what cigars are popular, what's cool, what's not cool. It's always changing. So you always got to pay attention to what everybody else doing, study what they're doing, so you can still stay relevant, being in the smaller cigar company in the industry.
Yeah, man. So, what do you think it's like working alongside of your mom, man? Because I didn't even realize, when I first came, I was like, yo, that's dope, man. Cody's rolling the cigars, his mom is rolling them, and it's like a real family business. It is. It's a family business. So what is that like working alongside of your mom, and how has that dynamic influenced the business?
My mom's done a lot of different jobs in her life, and she's handled a lot of different businesses as well, so she knows her way in and out of that. So I definitely learned a lot from her each and every day, because there's a difference between just selling cigars front-facing, but there's a lot that goes behind the scene that helps me be able to go out and sell cigars. So she teaches me really the back end of the business, the logistics side of it all. And then she's really the powerhouse behind it all, making sure orders go out, making sure customers and wholesalers are satisfied, making sure our shipping times are acceptable for our customers. So she's really the person that keeps the wheel running. I just kind of help her along the way and coil the machine along. So she really teaches us how to actually be a legitimate company. So she really is KGC as the corporation run, but I'm to help the front-facing part of it. So she teaches me something every day, and she learned how to work with her husband for 20 years. They had a business before KGC. They worked in the industry where they remodeled houses, so they did that before that was real popular. So she's done a lot of different things. She's worked with a lot of different people, so she knows how to keep relationships. But it is kind of hard to work with your mom at some point, because you have that personal relationship and then there's that business relationship. So you gotta mold the two together, but separate the two. So just on that alone, I think it's both taught us a lot in business and in our personal relationship, and I think it's helped us both come closer and both being able to share that as well. And it helps me bring my fiance in it and be able to work with her or have her help me, and it not be a conflict of interest, because it is hard to work with your significant other. But I've done it with my mom, so I kind of understand how to work around that relationship.
That's beautiful, man. And I keep on hearing you say KGC, right? How did we get, so can you explain what KGC is? Because I think from my experience, I remember it as Cap City Cigars, because I was new to town,
Yes.
right? So can you explain that?
So KGC is Kentucky Gentleman Cigar Company. That's our core company that we started in 2005. Cap City Cigar Bar is our lounge that we have added, so you can come hang out, have a drink, have an experience, enjoy a cigar, not just buy cigars and leave. But Cap City exclusively only sells Kentucky Gentleman Cigars product. So they are essentially our rep selling our cigars. So our biggest overhead usually in a cigar bar is cigars. So we help cut that cost. So it's really easier for us to offer a better experience for our customers. We don't have to charge them an X amount of price on cigars, so they're already spending $20 before they do anything else. So that's one thing we like to be different. Most cigar bars can't say, well, we only have our house cigars that we have blended for us and rolled for us. They usually sell other people's cigars, and there's usually some type of benefit for why they're selling that particular cigar, because they'll get merchandise or better prices and things like that. We just want to offer a great price cigar and a great smoke for a great price. So we want to be different from the standard mold, that whether it's a cigar lounge or a cigar company.
Understood. I appreciate that. Now, we were also earlier talking about innovation, brand evolution, right? You were talking about, well, that's how I built the brand, the way I marketed. What inspired the move from downtown Frankfort to now Versailles Road, and how has that impacted your business?
So we've moved probably about 7 times since Kentucky Gentleman Cigar Company started in 2005. So we started in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and we've kind of gotten a different feel for different locations and kind of realized what works and what don't. We were downtown for 7 years, and right before COVID, downtown really was on the verge, we felt like, from being really good. COVID really put a dent in what the walk-ins of downtown could produce, and it was slowly coming back, but it just wasn't to what downtown was offered to us prior to moving there. They wanted us to be downtown for years prior to us coming. We just didn't see a good enough location to pretty much come down there. I just feel like we ran our course in that location. Parking was a big problem. We used to get tour buses from different bourbon tours to stop in there to get cigars, and they didn't want to park and put their flashers on, so we lost a lot of those as well. We were the only bar that had to close at a certain time due to surrounding apartments around us. So it was just kind of a turning of the page. It was kind of moving to the direction that we needed to do something new, offer a different experience.
Yeah.
So we found this building, and we were like, we can make it work anywhere. We've been in other locations. Versailles Roads in between Buffalo Trace and Woodford Reserve. It sees 30,000 cars a day. Logistically, it just made more sense. We had our own parking. We had a spot to have a food truck. So now we can offer a more better experience for our customers, and even new customers, or even if you're not getting cigars, you can stop and get some chicken, and we can help our community in more than just one way of being downtown, and separate ourselves a little bit and kind of have our own establishment in our own place.
Understood, man. And I can't wait to try some of those wings again too from the truck versus the brick and mortar. I really like the access expanding to the food truck, man. But let's talk about product development. You're known for your unique infusions like bourbon and coffee. How do you come up with these ideas, man? And what's the process of testing and refining them?
So I always have to separate myself when I'm making new blends or new cigars, because what I like versus what you like or what the masses like is totally different. So you got to listen to what everybody's talking about and then match that with what I like. And then it's a lot of trial and error. You smoke it, and you're like, or you give it to somebody, they're like, that's really good, and you're like, So it's trial and error one, but we just like to do whatever's different. So everybody makes mild, medium, full body cigars in a bunch of variety of sizes. But we're in Kentucky. What is Kentucky known for? Moonshine. Well, let's try and tie that in. Well, Kentucky has tobacco called the Kentucky Fire Cured. Well, when we started, we're like, let's bring that in. Nobody touched that prior to us doing that in 2005. Now there's probably 10, 20 plus companies in the industry that are making cigars with fire cured, but before that was frowned upon. You would just never do that. Kentucky doesn't make cigar tobacco. You don't use. It's a new page. Kentucky broadleaf. Now Pennsylvania has broadleaf. Now Connecticut has broadleaf. Nobody was touching Kentucky broadleaf before. So it's honestly just doing stuff that nobody's done before and kind of making the unnormal normal. And that's kind of the certain niches we started. Nobody was aging tobacco in bourbon barrels before we did. But the funny thing is, everybody thought it was a negative. But when you go back and look at the history of moving tobacco from different states early on flatboats, or how they were storing them in rum barrels. Do you think they made sure the rum barrels were dry before they emptied them? Probably not.
Right.
So we were getting a natural infusion, years and years ago, before anybody thought it was a popular thing. In hindsight now in 2005, when we started doing it, they were thinking it was just crazy, and now everybody's making cigars for different distillery, or even just trying to themselves, whether it's rum or tequila or vodka. Everybody's trying to infusion process coffees. We do bourbon cream, peach moonshine. The list now is endless, and but there's a cigar for everybody. That's a certain group of individuals that like that. Not everybody's part of that cigar. So then we can still make a cigar for the masses or a certain group of individuals. So you're trying to relate to everybody when you're blending, not just one group of individuals. And certain companies go for that, and that's fine. We just like to match ourselves in the industry to where we can offer cigars for any individual. Whether you smoke one never, or you just smoked one, 100 cigars before. Or I know a guy that says he smokes 100,000 cigars. He says he keeps track of every one. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't, but we can make a cigar for everybody.
Right. Man, I think that's what brings me back here, man, because every time I come here, it's a different experience, especially when I take a gamble and just try something new. And I remember one time I had, I don't remember the name of it because it was like an exclusive release, but it had a coffee bean on the inside of the tube, man. And I smoked that particular cigar with, it's a beer out.
On today's highlight, we were highlighting Dementia Society of America and Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We love to give back to these organizations. They are very personal to our family. Dementia is very personal because my father actually passed away from dementia. He suffered with it for about 10 years. And my mother, it's very personal for her, for Big Brothers, Big Sisters, because it helped her and her family when they were kids and their sisters. So it's very dear to us, and we love to give back, whether it's through community, through cigars, and we really see a difference when we give back to these research foundations. So thank you for watching this interview, and now back to the interview.
Of North Carolina called Sexual Chocolate. Man, that coffee cigar went great.
I bet.
With that Sexual Chocolate cigar, man. I mean, with the Sexual Chocolate beer, which is like an imperial stout. You could taste like that coffee flavor in the beer. It had the coffee and chocolate and toffee flavor, man. It's amazing. But I think that's what separates you from many other folks. Because like you said, normally they'll just roll one type of cigar. But with yours, it's infused with many different flavors, like the triple threat, for example.
I think you hit it on the nail. The cigar itself is great, but you making that pairing further brought your experience to a new level, because those flavor notes going back and forth, that chocolate was enhancing that coffee was enhancing that chocolate. Now, you might have went with the Corona, you might have still liked it, but it might have not even been the same experience.
Right.
You made what was an already great experience even better. And that's what I love to tell people. Change up what you drink with whatever cigar you smoke. Doesn't even have to be mine. Just whatever your favorite cigar, it'll change what that cigar is giving you one day to the next if you just switch up what you drink with it. And then further to the triple threat, that's kind of doing that in the cigar without changing what you're drinking. It starts mild, it goes medium, then it ends full body. So you're getting 3 different offerings in one, but it's going to change throughout the smoke. So you get a whole new experience multiple times throughout the cigar. People call that complexity. So you're getting so much complexity there. It's like a new experience 3 times in the cigar. So you're almost getting 3 different cigar in the same one. So it's like you're getting a lot of value for your buck on that.
For sure.
As you said, that was called a triple threat, and that was becoming more and more popular.
Every time
year,
I come here, you
swear.
out of them.
I swear.
Man, but yeah, so let's talk about networking and growth. What have been some of the most memorable networking events that you've attended, and how have they shaped the brand?
The first one I can think of before I was doing this full time, I remember me and Dad did one. It was a private event for Boeing, and we were doing it in one of their private jets that they were showing in the hangar. Like, we were in the jet and we were rolling cigars in there, and people were looking at it, grabbing a cigar and going. That was probably my first, like, wow, this is only a certain group of people that you can get with connections like this. And who would have thought that just because of cigars you can make connections like that? Such a simple, art and tradition can, build relationship that can last years and can put you in different rooms that just by being in Frankfort, Kentucky, you can't just do in the brick and mortar. You have to reach out to different organizations. And, that goes back to one of your original questions earlier is, learning from Dad and the Pillar, and it just like the relationships he made, and then further, giving the same example as a person or as a businessman, or even as just a personal relationship with them, continuing to refine that so those relationships can stay whole and we can further build them throughout the years. And I was just telling you prior to the interview, we just did one for Drake's Lexington, a restaurant chain, and we did their son's wedding, and that's just you really can't just walk into that. That's through connections and relationships. I just don't meet them on a regular day basis. I don't just know the Drakes on a regular basis, which would be cool. Right. But they don't have my number and I don't have their number, so it's cool that you can find avenues through that. But we just try and support our customers, the people we work with, and just really be pleasant and great to work with. And so at the very least they can remember that, and then the work after that can speak for themselves, and they'll remember at least at the end of the day we treated them very good. We tried to do whatever we can to work with them and make it the best experience possible.
Yes sir, yes sir. So I guess my last question, man, because you've been futuristic with it, man, like since I've known you and got to interact with you and just saw like the evolution of the business, man. I guess my question is, what's next for Capital City Cigars? And are there any new products or expansions on the horizon?
That's a good question, because there's always stuff in the pipeline in the cigar industry. You have quarterly releases or seasonal releases, or we have different special releases and blends for distilleries like Castle and Key. This time of year we do a weeded release for them, and they only do about 700 to 1,000 cigars for those, so there's only so many that goes with the drop of their weeded line. So we always have different bourbon releases. But what's new for the Cap City side of it, we want to start hosting events. We want to start having like little block parties or car shows or live bands outside. We're going to put a trailer out there to have live music. So we want to really have little events for the community, even if they don't smoke cigars. We just want to have people here. We want to support the community. We want them to know we're here. So even if they're bringing family into town, maybe this is somewhere they stop to show them or bring them to get food, or maybe it's just a place for them to hang out. Now, we just want there to be that for anybody, whether you're from Frankfort or not. Buffalo Trace is right down the road, Woodford right down the road. We just want to give you another experience, but show you what Frankfort, Kentucky has to offer, and Kentucky as a whole. So we want to offer that, not just our cigars and not just the cigar lounge. So that's the main thing. We just want to be better with the community. But also for the lounge, we're going to start doing a lot of special releases to match with our cigars. So like cigar blends are becoming really popular in the bourbon industry. So we want to start doing pairing cigars with bourbon. But we also want to bring the distilleries in here and have tastings as well with cigar, or maybe have a tasting cigar night, and you can pair that cigar and smoke different cigars to pair with those different bourbons, and just have little tasters, and maybe you get 4 or 5 cigars you smoke that night. But you also get an experience with a master distiller from a distillery.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Teaching history, I call it. I want to teach etiquette, whether it's cigar etiquette, bourbon etiquette, and then show the pairing and why that's important. As we just spoke earlier about you and the beer, it's endless, and it doesn't even have to be alcohol related. We can go into different sodas. A lot of people drink chocolate milk with cigars. It seems, different, but that's a limitless avenue to go down. I really think like car shows will be cool here. Like cars and coffee is really popular. Have our own blend of coffee, serve coffee, have nice cars, smoke a cigar. I mean, what's better on a Saturday or Sunday if the weather's great? So definitely things like that. I just want to show the community that cigars is not just for your grandpa or your father, and you don't necessarily have to just smoke cigars to be able to enjoy the camaraderie that comes with it, or the brother and sisterhood that comes with it. There's a lot of community to it. There's a lot of, the cigar community as a whole donates a lot. They back a lot of donations, so it's just a great community to be a part of. But I don't think it's as popular as you really think it would be, at least around here. It is a lot of other places, but there's a little bit of disconnect. So I really want to connect, whether it's young generation, old, and maybe start having a cigar group, because Lawrenceburg, Kentucky has a cigar group, Lexington, Purcell. So I want everybody just to have some type of place to come, where it can just be a place for community.
Yeah. Well, man, I look forward to doing many more interviews with you, because I know y'all gonna come up with some different products that I can't wait to see. So
thank you, man.
Is that okay if I reach out for
course,
another
man.
one, man? Whenever y'all come up with those.
2026 is going to be a big year, so we have about 30 different offerings now. So we're probably going to try and get that to 50 in 2026. So we're probably going to add about 20 different blends next year. So it's going to be a big year for KGC as far as releasing new things.
Well, that's dope, man. I look forward to you. I mean, to seeing those products. And until next time, man.
Yes, sir.